Pray you're having a great morning. Welcome to the 5th edition of the Cisco Morning Huddle with Coach Brett West. I'm Lee Lewis. We're live here at First Financial Bank on Conrad Company in beautiful Cisco, Texas. Thank you all for listening in this morning. If you're close by, drop in. We have some refreshments. We have lots of refreshments this morning. Pineapple upside down cake, monkey bread, sausage balls, pigs and blankets. They need some fruit here this morning. You need to get down here and get some of that. Have some coffee and tell everyone thank you for sponsoring this weekly edition of Cisco Morning Huddle. Big Down Lobos up their season record to 4-0 last week with a big win, defeating the Godly Wildcats 47-19. Welcome to the show again, Coach West. Great game last week. Congratulations. How did the staff feel coming out of the game with the Wildcats?
Very pleased. The best our defensive line has played all year long. And we got to the quarterback without having to send too much pressure from linebackers. We got down the hill line very well on the backside. Our defensive ends take tons of plays from the backside. We've been waiting for that and definitely needed against that style of offense that God would put together Friday. And offensively, I guess wrong again, Lee. We worked on a 4-3 defense. We worked on a little 3-4 defense, and they showed up and ran a 5-2 double eagle, something me and you saw in the 1980s, and hadn't worked, a minute on it. And what was refreshing is we were able to make some first quarter changes. Coach White made some changes with our offensive line as they come off. After a miserable first series, by the way, we came off and got some things fixed, and it clicked with our O-line. We were able to register that and make those changes. We didn't have to wait for half. And, that's been definitely an issue that we've had in the past 4 weeks or 3 weeks. So we got it fixed, and we were very pleased with how well we caught on to that. And the next series, after that second series, we had it figured out and did a pretty good job moving the ball. But overall, very, very pleased with the exception of turnovers.
Well, it sounds like they were young linemen that you were talking about. I know that you had mentioned to the Bush Club you had challenged those guys to be able to step that part of the game up, that maybe physically they were able to handle all the things you were asking them to do and to make that adjustment in the game with Coach White, as you're talking about. Something to talk a little bit about. I know you wanted to mention some of those linemen that are up there and those guys progressing from week to week.
Sure, they probably take more criticism from me and our coaching staff, and with the exception to the quarterback. Our quarterback's going to get hammered the most in our scheme, but our offensive linemen work hard on it because we feel like if you get after it, you can be a good offensive line. You've seen our linemen in the past, we're not that big. Some of them are not even that strong, but we always find a way to get the job done. And there you have Caleb Raines, who's 180 pounds. Now, he outran our quarterback in a 40 last year. He can run, he can get it, he's strong. But, he's not just the typical lineman that you see. And yet, he leads our team, in grades. Grade-wise, he's number one right now at 180 pounds. And he just gets after it, does a great job. Bailey Edwards is coming on. He's leading our team in knockdowns. He does have the size that you typically like to see your offensive lineman have at about 220. Our center's doing a great job. His first year he's played center. And obviously it's the toughest position because you have to snap the ball. And he's getting a little later start because of that on the other linemen have. And he's got to snap it first, but he's doing extremely well for a new position. And then Oscar Rodriguez come off the JV last year, first year to be a varsity football player, and man, he's doing a great job. With the exception of that turned ankle, he would be graded down a whole lot better. But Mark Lahr comes in and fills his shoes, and they do great together. And then the sophomore Jed, and we talked a little bit about Jed. He was a move in. His brother played for me in 2005, but he's just not been in the system very long. So he obviously has the biggest problem with catching on to things because he's a sophomore and he's a move-in on top of that. But every week he's getting better. He had 6 knockdowns last week.
Well, and with those guys, you're talking about Caleb, but also Dustin, your center. Those guys 2 years ago won a state playing for a state championship team, and those guys were the sophomores. And now you're probably having to lean on them a little bit because all those other kids that you just mentioned, they're all coming back next year. So they're looking to these guys as seniors and haven't had 2 years under the belt starting, helping them out.
They certainly are, and they're not making many mistakes. You played in the state championship game as sophomores. They know what's going on. and they're definitely helping us get things straight on Friday night.
The health of the team from week to week is always something in smaller schools that's somewhere close to the front of your mind, or at least maybe not right at the top, but somewhere close, like we said. How's everyone doing this week?
You know, Colton Kent's our biggest concern. He's got a growing pool. It's been kind of aggravating the last 2 weeks, but he re-injured it a little worse Friday night. Didn't say much about it, but limped around most of the week. He's taken limited reps. And obviously, right now, probably the biggest concern we have, because he's got the bulk of our offense. I feel like he'll be fairly healthy tonight, although a growing injury can certainly come back. The second half is what we're worried about. Growing, I think the first half he'll be fine. Coming back out after sitting down at half and having to warm back up sometimes is an issue with that type of injury. But we know that he'll be a competitor and he's going to get after tonight, but definitely a concern. We gave Taylor Massey many more reps this week just to get him ready, just in case.
Oscar's back, pretty much the full strength again.
Oscar's back. He rolled that thing up on Tuesday, but he's been to treatment every morning. I think Kelly Cozart's got him ready to play.
All right, we're going to have to make a couple of adjustments in our segments here. Homecoming week, we've got some special guests we're going to get in the second segment. So right now, before we get out of this first break to the first break, let's talk about the sub-varsity games last night over at Stanford.
Well, we swept them last night. It was a very good day for the Lobos. The 7th grade won 8-6. They had a great athlete at running back, and we found much faster than us. And usually, most of you know, whoever's got the fastest running back and quarterback at the 7th grade level usually finds a way to win the game. And we were not as fast as they were, but we contained them. We found a way to win, even though we weren't quite as fast as the running back from Stanford. We contained him well and won 8-6. Great game that they had. 8th grade probably played the best they played all year long. And that Silva can run. He is extremely hard to tackle in open field. And we won that game 42-12. And the JV continued to remain undefeated and handedly defeated the Bulldogs 36-0.
You got a shutout. Sometimes shutouts, I think, kind of get overlooked at how impressive that is, but especially maybe at the younger levels, that's a pretty big deal.
Well, especially with an offense like what Stanford puts together. I mean, it's designed to score lots of points, and we were very pleased with the shutout.
Big win last night all the way around. Hoping that will continue tonight. Right now, that thought's going to roll us into our first break. Once again, we are live here at First Financial Bank on Conrad Hilton. Stop on in. You're listening to Cisco Morning Huddle on KTX 97.7. Back in 2 minutes. Fall morning. Hope you're having a great day. Looking forward to a wonderful weekend. I think there's a chance of rain tomorrow. So I'm and we're looking forward to it. We have a special treat here in the second segment this morning as we are now joined by our 2 senior cheerleaders, Jen King and Mackenzie Busby. Ladies, thank you for coming. Thanks to Mr. Kent and Miss Dotson for letting you get out of class, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's breaking your heart not to be there. Where would you be right now if you weren't here? English. I probably need to thank someone else. We'll get to that later on. You guys, both cheerleaders, been doing this for a long time, but tonight, a little bit special because you're also a homecoming queen nominee, right? That's got to be a pretty good feeling. Share with us what that means to you and what you expect you'll be experiencing when you walk across the field tonight at halftime with your dads.
I think it's an honor just to be nominated because the whole school votes, not just your grade recognition. And it's going to be really sad. I might cry.
You might cry?
Maybe.
I think you'll be smiling like that. What do you think, Mackenzie?
It's an honor to be nominated, I think, because like she said, the whole school will nominate you, and out of our school we had like 260 people, and all of them voted for us 6 girls.
Now you live in a house with all guys, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
pretty much.
this is kind of the flip side. Has Mom maybe been a little more emotional this week?
Kinda. She went and like got my mom, and she saw it, and she said it was like pretty, but and then I think like my dad is taking it like kind of hard.
Right. And then on the flip side for you, Jenna, is there a little pressure in the King household? I mean, leading up to this, Jenna's got 2 older sisters, and I can't remember if they both were homecoming queens.
Yes.
I know Oh, they were both nominated.
They're both homecoming.
So they both won too. Okay, so there's a little pressure to keep the streak going. A little bit. Are they texting you and giving you pointers or anything?
No.
So what's it been like in the house this week?
Busy.
Busy?
Yeah, trying to get everything ready for homecoming. My
Talk-
dad's speaking at the pep rally today, so.
And you guys are doing, as a class, you guys are involved in stuff all week long. Talk a little bit about how the competitions are going from the seniors' perspective this week.
On Monday we played tug of war and we won. And then Tuesday played dodgeball and won. And then Wednesday and Thursday we lost. So now we're tied with the juniors, so we have to learn to dress up.
And what's the dress up today? Just anything in general? Or?
Yes.
Okay. But y'all been having dress up stuff all week, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, but the other few days weren't really for getting points or winning or anything. Today was pretty much that day, right?
Yes.
All right, good deal. You do cheer normally on a Friday night. How does that change now with homecoming? Are you cheering before halftime, or are you pretty much just sitting up in the stands watching everything go on?
We're sitting in the stands the whole time, except for halftime we go on the field.
Okay, and then after the half, do we go back out and cheer, or you're still back in the stands?
We had the option to, but I think it would be fun just to actually sit and watch a game for once.
So what do you think that experience is going to be like? I mean, you guys have been on the sideline ever since junior high. When is the last time you sat in the stands to watch a football game at Cisco High School?
6th grade, I guess.
Long time ago. Okay, so what do you expect that's going to be like tonight?
It's gonna be hard. I mean, it's kind of. I wish I'm gonna be out there because it's my last homecoming, but it's gonna be fun because I'm gonna be sitting with a good group of girls and watch the game.
Any thoughts, Mackenzie, on that? From your perspective, what do you think?
Yeah, the last time I watched the game was AB's last playoff game from the stands, and like she said, I think it'll be hard because it's our last homecoming game, but it'll be fun because we have a good group of girls that we'll be with.
This being your last year at CHS, and there's still a lot to go yet, and you guys are still right in the middle of football season. But thinking back through all 4 years, maybe one or two things from your experience that you think you'll never be able to forget this moment, what would that be?
The state football game, definitely.
Okay. Anything else? You've been to a lot of games. I mean, you followed your brothers everywhere with your mom and dad. You may have a lot more to draw from.
I never thought that I would be in a state game because my brothers and them. I never thought I would be, but then sophomore year we went and it was an experience.
A lot of fun. What are you looking forward to most from? Let's go past tonight. What do you think you're looking forward to most the remainder of the season, remainder of the year, school year?
Just to watch. I think our guys are all fun to watch, and our girls are also, but just the boys, they know how to act when they get on the field, and I think it's just fun watching. It's my holiday year.
What about you? Going forward, what do you think? I know basketball's in there somewhere, and probably softball too.
Yeah, it's just all the sports, all of the Cisco girls are expected to go into playoffs this year, and we're working really hard in off season to achieve that goal, and also to watch the boys and how far they can go too.
All right, ladies, we appreciate you being here this morning. Wish you both all the luck in the world tonight. I know that whoever wins, you'll be happy for them and support them, and we just hope that the rest of this year is a huge blessing for you, and we want to say thank you because you guys have been involved in so much through the school years, and we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. It's time for us to take our second break. You're listening to the Cisco Morning Huddle, KATX 97.7. Back in 2 minutes. First Financial Bank in Cisco, Texas. Coach West, tonight you guys are playing the defending Class A state champions. They are currently ranked number 1. It's Cisco's homecoming. And as if you needed to throw anything else on top of that, it's the Big Country Game of the Week. Evan didn't do you any favors by talking about how long it's been Cisco hasn't lost one of those games. I think going back to 2006 or something like that. Despite graduation, the Stanford team is still a very, very good team. What do you guys expect to see tonight from the undefeated Bulldogs?
Well, they're a lot like last year. They bring a lot of dilemmas to us Friday night because they've got a D1 receiver.
And I mean, he is very, very special. And a lot of folks have tried to double team him, and in the process of that, Stanford's running game has taken over. Well, you single cover him and try to stop the running game, and you have issues covering him one-on-one. And that's just a major dilemma for Coach Brunson in deciding exactly what he wants to do. Last week was easy for us defensively as far as we could take some chances. You know, we could pile some people in there. We didn't worry about the receivers beating us deep. The quarterback wasn't a great passing quarterback, so we could put 8 in the box even in a spread situation. This is just this. They're going to single Washington over on one side. They're going to put trips on the other, and they're going to make you make a decision. Are you going to take that other safety and walk him down to the trip side and run a cover 3 and let Washington be one-on-one with your corner? And if you don't do that, you're going to have a hard time stopping some of the things they do rushing-wise. So big dilemma. And Coach Brunson's got a great plan. Our kids just have to put it together tonight. And I think we have a great plan on stopping both threats. But obviously they're good. And their quarterback, Bo Wimberly, he came in the second half last year after Hutchinson got hurt, and he had a great game against us. I mean, he hurt us with his feet. He's a good quarterback. I think their offensive line is quite possibly better than it was last year. So they are still very talented. Although they graduated 26 or 7 seniors last year, they have 21 seniors this year. So they are definitely an old, experienced team that won a state championship, and they bring a lot to the table tonight. Defensively, they run a 3-3, which is extremely difficult to block. We haven't seen that all year long. The last time we've seen that was in our game last year with them. They also throw a 4-3 in there just as a little combination, and they have a goal line. So a difficult week to block. I feel like we've had a good week. I think our kids understand the importance of the game, how good Stanford is, and they've been very focused. They've watched a lot of video this week. Despite homecoming activities, I feel like we're focused.
After 2 weeks of seeing teams in Comanche and Godley that more or less wanted to try to pound it out, run the clock down as much as possible, kind of got away from that. This Stanford team, while they, like you're saying, are going to try to run the ball too, they're not necessarily worried about the clock as much. What do you guys do to try to counter that?
Well, they're very similar to Clyde. It was a good thing we played that Clyde team, because Clyde probably got more snaps off than what Stanford's planning to do. They wanted a quick pace offense. So at least we've seen that this year. We've seen a spread type of offense that can throw it around and make your defensive lineman run sideline to sideline, and we've seen it. And I feel like that will benefit us. However, Stanford just does it a whole lot better. I mean, they're just doing it with better talent. They're doing it with a bigger, stronger offensive line than what we've seen.
How do you explain a 1A program, and I know they're big school 1A, suiting up over 30 kids 2 years in a row, and then they had more kids on the sideline in the JV game last night than we did?
They're getting them all out. I don't understand how they can put together that many kids on a football team. That's definitely difficult to do at their classification. They're a big 1A and we're a small 2A, so we're enrollment-wise, there's not a huge difference. They're getting all their kids out. Coach Hutchinson has done a great job of that over the years, and definitely a quality coaching staff that they have here in Stanford, and hats off to them.
Skip what we usually talk about in regards to what the other district teams are going tonight, because tonight is homecoming. And I was talking to Kelly West earlier in the week, and he was saying that everybody's kind of thinking that tonight might be some kind of a attendance record at the game. I know that you guys are totally focused and thinking constantly about what's going on in between the sidelines. But do you ever notice the crowd, or is it more or less when you just finally take that side and walk off the field?
Once the ball's kicked on that opening kickoff, I really don't notice much after that. Every now and then I notice my superintendent yelling at me. He's an ex-coach. He's every now and then yelling a suggestion. Then, of course, we got my old man from Dillon, my daddy, yelling a suggestion at me. Between them and Mr. Yao, of course, we're going to get it straight. Mr. Yao comes in every week, and he brings me donuts on Fridays. And one of our favorite fans, and he always brings me a good suggestion to put on. So, hey, if it doesn't work this week, it was Mr. Yow's suggestion.
All right.
But no, we know we're going to have a big crowd, but it's good for us. Our kids need to go through something like this. We get down to a playoff game, hopefully, in the near future, and we put something like this behind us. You know, kids need to feel that environment. They need to witness it firsthand, and I feel like it will be a playoff environment tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. Looking out on the sideline, you've got the coaching staff, and then there's like an administrative coaching staff, and then your dad's usually down there too. It's fun to watch everybody as they're milling around to see what's going on. I always enjoy the sideshow as much as I do what's happening in between the hashes.
Definitely fun on that sideline, and if you're winning.
If you're winning, which you guys have been doing a lot of, so it's got to be fun almost all the time. Well, folks, we've just about run out of time. Coach West, thanks again for being here this morning. Great luck tonight against the Stanford Bulldogs.
Thank you, Lee.
Want to let everybody know, just a couple of quick program notes. Number one, if you're planning on staying tuned for the Maverick morning huddle, you're going to be disappointed because they're not having it today. Those guys Eastland's got a bye this week. That said, we would love to invite our Eastland friends to come on over to the game tonight. I understand Stanford's having a tailgate party over in their parking lot, so just jump right in there if you want to and have fun with that. I'm sure there'll be some Cisco folks that are involved in some kind of cookouts going on, and I think Terry's having something over at his house, so maybe you can go to Terry's house and have some barbecue tonight. Other thing is this, I believe Coach West had an interview with TSN Sports this week, and I believe Matthew, who's been running the board back in the studio, is going to play that for you right after we get our little segment done here, so stay tuned for that. For everybody that's been a part of this one, thanks to Matthew, Coach West, Mackenzie, and Jenna for coming in this morning, and everybody that came down to First Financial Bank and First Financial Bank for hosting us every week. Thank you so much. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Next week we will be off. We'll see you in 2 weeks as we get ready to start District 4 AA Division 2 play against the All Americans. Thanks. We'll see you in 2 weeks.